Okay, welcome back. We're on to our next project here at Project 6th Street. And recently we had this landscape put in by a friend of ours. He did a really great job. And it's hooked up to a timer, which is right here. It's a timer that he got at Home Depot. And you can set the time, and it's set up to water twice a day for about 10 minutes. And what we're using is these drip hoses. And when the timer turns on, there's little holes in here and it drips out. It waters it quite nicely. And it runs through both hedges. And it comes up, and on this topiary here, we have an extra little sprinkler which sprays directly on there. And then also up here on the potted plant, we have an extra sprinkler too, back in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But what that leaves is this hose running across the front patio. So what I want to do is I want some kind of solution to this that I can hide that hose and paint it the same color as the house. And I think I found a solution to it, and I want to share it with you. Okay, so I saw this at Home Depot. It's called Legrand, and it's a cord mate 2 right here. And I figured, well, this is really for indoor cords. But I think that it'll be big enough on the end here to fit that little hose right through. And I can kind of glue it to the wall, and I can paint it the same color as the house, and then you won't see that water line going through. So what I got to do is, it comes with this sticky surface on the back, and what I started to do is just kind of peel it off, because what's happening is that's not going to work for the concrete. So I'm going to peel that off, and I'm going to use some of this Gorilla construction adhesive, and it's clear. And what I'll do is I'll glue that to the wall, and then I'll put the hose through this, and then I can go ahead and fill in any gaps with the caulk, and then I'll paint it the same color as the house. And each piece is about 5 foot, but I need longer than 5 foot. And you can buy these connectors at Home Depot also to attach 2 lengths together. So I think that's going to work really good. Okay, so I measured it out. I saw how long I needed. I have one piece here that's 5 foot long, and then I need the rest of this to extend it longer. And I think I can cut it with a sharp utility knife, I believe. So I'm going to give it a try. See how it goes. If not, we'll use a saw. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit harder than I thought. Maybe we'll go and use a hacksaw on it. So let me grab that, and we'll put it in the vise. Okay, so I'm just going to use this little hacksaw. Let's get over here to the vise, see what we can do. I don't want to tighten it down too much, but we'll see. It's just kind of like a plastic material, so this should work. Oh yeah, this is going to cut it nicely, I think. There we go. We cut it really nice, and what we can do is now we can put the 2 ends together with one of these couplers. And what we'll probably do is, once we get it out near the hose, because we'll have to put it in the hose in the slot, then we'll put the coupler on and tighten it up. So let me bring you out front, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I moved the plant out of the way, and what we're going to do is we are going to put the hose into this. Let me see the best way to do this. You probably want to go in this way. See, that'll slide right in there with plenty of room. And then we'll take the other piece. Sorry, tipped over the caulk. I don't want that, or the construction adhesive. I don't want that. rolling down the driveway. What we'll do is we'll just put this in there also, just like that. A little awkward with the curl of the hose, but I'm sure I'll be able to get it in there. I'll have some extra hose left over, I'm sure. Very good. We'll get that in there. Now, getting it back together, I just want to clip it back together. The hose is already in there all the way down the length, and it'll slide back and forth, so you can leave some slack. But once we get all this put together, what we'll do is we'll fit that coupling on there, and then I'm going to decide which way I want to put it, with the slot up or down. I don't think I'm going to want to change this hose at any point, so I could probably put it down. I don't know, depending on how it's going to look. I have enough room here. And then what we'll take is the coupling, and we're going to put it just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll run a bead of construction adhesive all along there. And see how that comes out. We'll run the bead along here, and then we'll just stick it on there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to run the Gorilla construction adhesive. I'm just going to run a bead along that back edge there, and knowing me, I'm going to make a mess, so I did bring a rag to clean up. And a nice bead along there, just enough for it to glue on, and then I'll caulk it in also, but this stuff's pretty good. I'm just gonna run a nice bead along there. Try not to make too much of a mess. I'm a big mess maker normally. And let's see if that's gonna work. I'm gonna try not to get it all over my hand, because then everything I touch. There we go. I left a little space at the end so we can pull a hose back and forth, or even thread another hose in there if we wanted. And you know what? That sticks pretty fast. And of course there's going to be a gap we're going to have to fill with caulk eventually, but it shouldn't be a big problem. I think I may tape this part down. Got a little twisted there. There we go. May have to, I don't know how tape's going to go on the concrete, but should go good. Use painter's tape. I really don't want to, doesn't really matter, I'm going to have to repaint anyway. Right here. See if we can get that tight enough. And whatever's not tight enough, we can fill with caulk, and it should be fine. So of course, nothing is straight on the house. Tacks up pretty quick. You can hold it in there. Okay, and as you can see, I put some tape to hold it on the wall a little bit. It's okay if you have a little bit of a gap, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Red Devil concrete caulking. It's sanded, so it's going to match the concrete, and it's also going to match the stucco. And we're going to paint over the whole thing anyway, so it's going to look really nice when we're done. It'll be seamless, it'll look good, and we'll get that going for you next. We're going to let this dry just a little bit, let that set, and then we'll put the caulk in. All right, so it seems as if our glue is very dry, so our construction adhesive, so we're just going to peel off the tape very carefully. I'm not sure if it stuck to that really bad, probably did. We just kind of be careful. Peeling it off. There we go. So it took some paint, but that's all right. We'll touch it up. We'll have the paint out anyway. Touch everything up when we get the paint out. Just peeling a little bit. That's all right. Okay, now I'm going to use this caulk. I really love it. It is, I don't know if you can see that, Red Devil masonry and concrete caulk. And then I want to have a bucket of water and a sponge handy just in case any mishaps or for cleanup. I really don't want to get too much caulk down there. And this is what I'll do. Okay, here we go. We're just going to run a nice bead along here. Nice bead of caulk along here to fill in this gap, and we'll smooth it all out when I'm done. Making sure we're filling it all up. And then I think I'm going to run a bead along here too. I think it'll look neater. I can get a straighter line of paint when I paint this. And then other than that, it'll just look gray, and it's sanded like I said. So we'll run a bead along there too. Fills in a pretty big gap, so you shouldn't have any problems. As I said, I love this masonry caulk. It works great. It's Red Devil. I'll leave a link in the description. Oh, a little gap there. I want to make sure we fill. And then what I like to do is just use my finger. And then what I can do is go back over it with the sponge, but at least I've got that bead all in the gap. Wipe it on the side of the bucket, the water bucket, smooth that out. And it's all going to be painted over anyway, so you don't have to worry too much about it, just as long as we fill all the gap in. And right to the end. And we'll just take a damp sponge, just kind of go over it lightly. Don't even it all out. Sometimes you just need to go with your finger again. And we should be good to go later this afternoon for paint. What we want to do is let it dry about 2 hours, I like to do. And then we'll touch up all these spots with the paint when we have the paint out. And we should be all set. All right, so we let this dry for about 2 hours. It's nice and dry to the touch, and we're gonna try painting it. We're using PPG paint that we used on the house. And I'm gonna All right, there's the finished product. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I've got the plant back in place, and I'll just leave the sprinkler off until tomorrow. We're gonna let the paint dry good. It'll all along here will match. It'll dry darker than it is right now. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and the next project will be right around the corner. God bless.